What's up, guys? Blue Zerker here, and coming at you with another late night journal entry. Another one of those, thought about not doing it at all, but I had 10 minutes. And that's kind of the joy of these things, is that 10 minutes isn't too much of a dedicated amount of time to put towards something. Like, I literally have a bedtime reminder that's like, hey, it's 9:45, time to get ready for bed. And so I said, I've got my 10 minutes, let's get it done. I was talking to a friend today, and I told him, before that, I guess. And welcome. Thank you guys for watching. I'm feeling a little blue, per usual. But it's shifting. There's like a different tone. Yesterday, I was ready to quit my job. Today, my boss came and talked to me for a little bit, and we didn't really find any solutions. But I didn't quit, so that's good. At least not yet. There's different reasons to stay motivated and deal with it for a little bit longer. I have a vacation at the end of April. That's 10 days and it's paid, but who wants to make it till the end of April? Because right now I'm getting, just frustrated on top of frustrated on top of frustrated. I'm counting down the days. I've been there about 8 months, 9 months now. I wanted to try to make it a year because that's going to give me a nice little bonus, but I don't know that I'm going to make it that long. I have the GRE coming up that I'm going to be taking. Hopefully I can score well on that. And as long as that permits, I do well enough on it, I can kind of start planning, and getting my future plans more solidly intact. Because right now it's just kind of the general trying to figure it out. That being said, I went to my shift change, which is something I have to do on Fridays and Saturday nights. And my third shift supervisors were late, and I think one of them was drunk, and it's so frustrating to feel like you just have to turn a blind eye to certain things. I already was a little short-staffed, but I was sorry, I'm doing the thing again, we'll work on that. When your supervisors come in and are just late and blasé, and no apologies or no, hey, sorry, we're late, nothing, just late, roll in late, go to the store, go get some stuff. It's really frustrating, and especially this supervisor in particular used to run the store that I manage, so there's some definitely frustrating elements of well, I used to run the store and this is how I did it, and I'm okay, well, the reason you don't run the store anymore is because you're not qualified and you didn't do a good enough job. Supposedly she did an okay job, but her biggest problem is that she's nasty and doesn't know how to talk to people. And that nastiness is just reflected on Saturdays in particular. I don't know if there's something particular about Saturday, but Fridays she's normally okay, and there's not a big issue. Working overnight 9 to 7, I get it. It's frustrating. You're getting a premium bonus pay for that, but every Saturday there just tends to be more of an issue, the showing up late, which also happened last Saturday. And there's these weird things where there's an element of understanding what my job is, so she thinks that there's has all these expectations on me, but the job is a little malleable, so some of the things that she thinks I should be doing, I think are irrelevant and not necessary. I'm doing it again. Sorry. I realized today, I was talking to a friend, enough of that, basically, I don't know how people are so nasty, and stay so nasty, I guess. I mean, I've seen it in television and movies, and you have these bitter people, and man, I feel like I used to be like her years ago, and I can still be kind of catty and petty, but I've done a lot of personal growth in the past 2 or 3 years. I've always tried to learn more, but there's a difference between learning more and growing. You can have a larger, I used to think that part of growing was just learning more every day, and I like to learn new stuff. Part of why this journal has been so enjoyable is that I do learn some new stuff. I work on different things and skills. I'm getting better at making eye contact with the camera, even though I find myself constantly drifting down. The ums in my filler words are still there. I think that's from a lack of a script, but I'm also trying to improve that as I go. Yesterday I realized I shouldn't do this with my retainers in, so I've got them over here on the side. I'll have them, I'll put them in when I'm done with the video. But I would learn something new, and I would kind of consider this growth. I would improve at a skill, maybe a video game I was playing. I'd learn a little bit something new about Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or I would learn something new about just, life and politics or anything like that. And I would see this as growth. But so much of growth is an understanding of oneself and bettering oneself. which isn't just done through like pure random tidbits or knowledge or facts. So I feel like I used to be a really bitter person who could be really passive aggressive and had a lot of like inward angst that was causing me to have problems with the people around me, and that made me view the world a certain way. And then one day I realized that I can't keep blaming all my problems on like the people around me. I have to take responsibility for it. I had like not the best childhood in the world. I mean, I had like caring parents. They just weren't together, and there was a lot of like scuffle over where I was living at some points, and my single mom of four kind of raising us and doing a good job, and then I'd see my dad on the weekends sometimes. But we were never particularly close. That relationship's developed a lot as an adult. And so I had a lot of frustration as a kid towards like my mom or my dad or like family, and not feeling like I kind of belonged anywhere, and just dealt with my own angst and other problems that I eventually kind of got over. And like how I got over them, I don't really have a great answer to. I did like a little bit of therapy, but it wasn't some moment in therapy where I fixed it. I did that a couple different times over a couple different years, and that helped me kind of look inward and see where the problems were that weren't just related to me and had more to do with my relationships. But basically I gained a lot of self-confidence, and I started gaining a lot of like just self-respect. And these are the things that like when we stop blaming the other people around us for our problems, we can then just see exactly what our problems are. When I studied philosophy, Sartre has this idea of like radical freedom, where if I go outside and I'm hit by a bus, I have a stake of responsibility in what's happening because I decided to be there in that moment. It doesn't absolve the bus driver for like hitting me, especially if like legally I had the right of way and they were at fault and whatnot, but I do have to acknowledge that like I was there. So instead of assigning blame, it's more about acknowledging that I have this radical freedom, this free will to do the things and pick these things and choose to be certain places. Now, I can be subjected to things, but I am still... that lighting is so much better. I don't know why it keeps changing. I am still responsible for where I am in the world, even though things might happen to me. That being said, taking that idea of radical freedom and seeing someone who's unhappy and miserable, and then realizing that, you know, so much of it is your own doing. Like, you might be around people that are causing it, but you're also inviting or being around those people. Like, a lot of times we'll say things about, like, I have to do this, I have to do that. And obviously that's just things we say. You know, we obviously know, well, you don't have to go to work tomorrow, right? But the having to do something is a basis on priority. So, like, I have to go to work because I need money to live, which is true. But I don't have to do that job. I don't have to do that work, and I don't have to have all of that money. Part of it, you know, I have certain financial obligations, but I'm prioritizing those obligations by fulfilling the financial requirement and choosing a job that does that. I have kind of an expensive apartment, and so, well, nothing crazy, but I chose to have like a nice living situation, which put me in a financial, bind isn't the correct word, but a financial obligation towards my living situation. If I decided I couldn't afford it, I had some potential options to like move out, figure some other stuff out, or just kind of get evicted because I've stopped paying. And I have to kind of make choices based on where my priorities are. You see this a lot in like lower income type settings and situations where it's like, you know, you just have to make specific financial decisions and start cutting things that aren't priorities, right? Things like electricity or water that might get turned off, you know, and you know that you can go without it for 2 days because you need gas to get to work to pay the next bill. That's obviously like, it's not everyone in every low income situation, but those are some of the like mental hurdles and things that people have going on. I remember my mom being very kind of deliberate. There was a wonderful, I think it was Everybody Hates Chris. The mom in that show was very good at like, we pay the electric bill late on this day so that we can pay for this and afford that. And so there's this like level of like money management out of like a desperation isn't the right word, but like a higher need to be more strict about one's spending and having to kind of give up things that we wouldn't consider luxurious, but to some people are, like having electricity. There were several times where I came home and we didn't have electricity in the house. And then we kind of figured it out from there after a few days or whatever it is. But yeah, anyway, what's so important is that we identify these moments and things in ourselves and we figure out where, the shortcomings are. In a very crude example, I started this little podcast, this little journal for myself. I have relocated so I could fix my sound, so I could use my nice little mic. It's right here. Oh. Boop. I have, so I'm at my computer, which I'm realizing that, like, my webcam quality is not nearly as good as my iPhone, and for some reason the lighting is changing. I'm working on getting some lighting fixed, and I'm seeing the things where there are errors or things that aren't done the way I want them to do, and I'm improving on them slowly over time, because that's what it takes. I can't just buy all this stuff all at once, but if I can continue a hobby, then that works. But anyway, I'm kind of running past my time. I'm surprised I had as much to talk about today as I did. I told a friend today that I don't know what I'm going to talk about for 10 minutes. I feel like it's the same thing every day about work or whatever. But I have a wealth of other knowledge that I can always tap into, so I might come with a more deliberate idea. Right before I sat down to record, I was thinking about my supervisor and this idea of growth and being bitter and whatnot, and I was like, I think I could talk about that for 10 minutes. So anyway, I'm way past my time. If you're feeling blue, I'm sorry to hear it. There's some emotions that need to be felt. Otherwise, let's see what we can do to work our way through it. And yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Just kidding. I mean, you can, but it's just me rambling to myself. So have a good night. Thank you.